We're here. We've got some great supplies. We're going to make a sweet treat.
Yes, we are. Absolutely. We are going to get through this. It is Monday, right?
Yes.
And I've really dropped the ball. It is National Whipped Cream Day. I brought no whipped cream. So we're going to power through this all the way.
It still looks delicious.
It does. And it's early in the new year.
Yeah.
So we thought, you know, in a lot of recipes, a lot of things, almonds are considered a lucky nut. I don't know why. I didn't do that deep dive, but they're in a lot of recipes, and especially when we come to the Chinese New Year, you'll find a lot of recipes that include almonds, and I figure we need all the luck we can get. So we're going to start off with our good luck almond pound cake this week. And there's a couple ingredients in here that are a little out of the ordinary, so we want to talk about them first. They're probably something you may not already have in the cabinet. And the first one is cake flour. Cake flour is a little bit different than our regular all-purpose flour or bread flour because of the protein content. It's a much lower protein, so it doesn't make that gluten in the recipe like regular flour. And so that gives us a lighter, fluffier texture. So that's why you'll see it a lot of times in those softer, really pillowy recipes like angel food cakes and things like that. If you don't have cake flour, you can actually add a little bit of cornstarch to all-purpose flour and then sift it, and then sift it one more time to really lighten it and actually kind of aerate it, which is the whole purpose there. So that one's a little bit different, and ordinarily in all of our recipes we go with large eggs, and this time we're going to be working with jumbo eggs. So those are going to give us obviously a lot higher fat content to go with our butter and our cream cheese. So this is going to be a really, really nice, dense, rich cake.
Yes.
That would actually be perfect with a little whipped cream on the side. So we're going to start with some cream cheese and butter together in our bowl here, and I've just started this process to whip this together and get it really nice and fluffy. Beautiful. And then to that I'm going to add some just regular white granulated sugar. We're going to put this together again. We want it to get really creamy, really fluffy, and make sure that all of that sugar is well combined and no grittiness left behind. When we come back, we're going to show you a little bit with that cake flour and how we incorporate that into our recipe along with those eggs. And we're going to top this off with a really yummy glaze that's going to be that topping, some slivered almonds. It's going to be a beautiful cake for gifting if you want to, but just one that you can slice and freeze and eat whenever you want.
I can't wait to see how this comes together, Lori. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. We've got Lori Langley joining us in the studio today to show us her almond pound cake recipe that just sounds so good.
It really is, and it's perfect to serve with fresh fruit, whipped cream. It's just a really nice, fresh tasting cake that's got a beautiful texture to it. And we started out this morning with 3 sticks of butter and a block of cream cheese, creamed together really, really well so that they're nice and smooth. Added to that 3 cups of regular white granulated sugar, nothing out of the ordinary there. The one other ingredient we didn't talk about earlier in the morning is a little bit of vanilla bean paste. And this makes such a difference in our rich vanilla flavor as well, because it's more of that really true center of the vanilla bean instead of our artificial extract. Either one will work fine. We added also, of course, a little bit of almond extract to that. And what I've got in here so far is all of those things and then our cake flour. It's that lower gluten, so it's going to be really, really light. And I've got just a little bit left to sift in there. When you look at that recipe later, you go back to that KOAM News Now listing, you're going to find that it says 3 cups and then sifted after measuring. And that's pretty self-explanatory, but you do want to measure out your 3 cups and then run it through the sifter, not the other way around. So I'm going to get the last of those few little pieces in there. I've got just a little bit in my bowl. We want to make sure we get it all in there. And then I added to that 6 jumbo eggs. And if you don't think there's much difference between the large eggs and the jumbo eggs, put them side by side. They are huge. You can add 7 large eggs if you don't have jumbo. That's how much extra is in there. It's a whole nother egg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm just going to stir in the last of this bit. Once you've creamed those first few ingredients, the rest you can really mix by hand. This is not a super duper thick batter. It's just a really pretty smooth, typical cake batter for us. So we want to get the last of those dry ingredients incorporated. And make sure you scrape down the sides, the bottom, all of that. So what you're going to end up with is this just really nice, and my bag is kind of in your way there. Nice smooth batter. You can see it kind of pours easily, but it's not real thick. I've got a bundt pan here that I've already sprayed. We want to make sure we either grease and flour it or spray it with some baking spray, either way, because it's really important we turn this out nice and clean. I'm going to put all of this batter, of course, in there. You can also do these in loaf pans if you want to gift as well. That sometimes is a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So we're just going to pour this around. It's going to fill this pan pretty well. We want to make sure we get all of that yummy batter in there. This is a really, as I said, low gluten content by using that cake flour, but also a really nice tender cake because we have a lot of ingredients with high fat content. We've got that cream cheese, we've got lots of butter in there, more eggs than we would normally use in a lighter, different cake recipe. So it's gonna be so tender and so good. Smooth that out before you put it in the oven, and then make note that this bakes low and slow, 300 degrees for an hour and a half minimum.
Yes, but it's going to be so worth it.
So worth it when we come back.
Perfect. We'll be right back. Lori Langley in the studio showing us the last few steps for her good luck almond pound cake.
Yes. We find in a lot of different cultures that almonds are for good luck. So we thought it's the perfect time. It's the beginning of the year. If you guys are traditionalists like me, we all ate our black-eyed peas on New Year's Day. We'll take all the help we can get. So we're just going to continue that little trend for some good luck. We've got everything set. As I said, this is going to bake really low and slow in that oven, 300 degrees for about 90 minutes. Check it with a toothpick like you normally would, or a cake tester. Mine I baked yesterday was about spot on 90 minutes. So you may need a few extra minutes on either side, but it's always best to go less and add a little bit more than to overbake.
Yeah.
And then don't rush this one. When you bring it out of the oven, let it cool in the pan until the pan is comfortable to touch. If you do rush it just a little bit, you can get some cracking like I did on mine. I was kind of in a hurry to get that wrapped up. So doesn't really affect anything as far as the texture or anything. Just doesn't look quite as perfect, but hey, it's still going to taste great.
And that's the important part.
That is the most important part. And our finish on this is going to be a really nice almond glaze. So all I've got in my little bowl here is some powdered sugar. I'm going to add to that. You always want to measure almond because a little goes a long ways. About a teaspoon of almond extract. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of milk at a time until I get it to the texture that I want. And this doesn't require a mixer or anything, just a spoon to kind of start to get those damp ingredients mixed together. And probably about 3 tablespoons of milk is going to be fine. You can even use whipping cream if you have some in the fridge. I know this time of year we've all kind of got some of those little leftover ingredients from the holiday recipes, so use them up, absolutely. Either way is going to be fine. But you don't want this to be a super thin glaze. We just want it to be kind of pourable because we want a little bit over the top and then we want it to set a little bit. So we're going to add just a little splash more. Should be just right. And you can add a little bit of that vanilla bean paste to this as well if you like, to kind of temper that almond.
Yeah.
But as I said, this is so good if you're displaying this, if you're having this kind of be your centerpiece. You could fill this with some fresh raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, anything like that's going to be so good. And have a little bowl of some fresh whipped cream on the side. So this is about right. We want it to just nicely pour off the spoon. You can see it's really nice and smooth. So we're going to just lightly take this and make a loop around the top of that cake and let it just fold itself down the edges. It's going to look so pretty.
And that looks so easy.
It really is. And this is going to be done, of course, after that cake is totally cool and out of the pan. Probably not quite as cool as mine is because it was in the car for the evening, so it's nice and chilled. This will set up really quickly. But if you act fast, if your cake is not quite that cold, We're going to come back and add to the top just a few slivered almonds so that, again, as we always say, we want to make sure that people can very easily identify what flavors are in here. It looks pretty, and it just adds that extra little top to the touch.
That looks so good.
It is.
Well, it's a perfect way to kind of start the new year as well
Absolutely.
with a new recipe.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Lori. We'll be right back.